Short in the 7 versus 8 play-in game. Russell Westbrook would not be denied a playoff spot last night for the 8th seed. Westbrook finished the game with 18 points, 15 assists, and a plus-minus of +30 in the 142-115 win over the Pacers. And after the game, Scott Brooks had high praise for Westbrook's performance. Take a listen.
Russell has an edge to him, guys. And I think the world should appreciate that. He gives you everything. He's a hooper. And sometimes he's an angry hooper, but he's a hooper that just plays the right way and plays hard. But I knew he wanted to come back better.
Little edge. Shannon, how much of a shot do you give the Wizards against the 76ers round 1?
Skip, I think they're going to get a couple of games off them. I really do. I think they'll take two games. Skip, I mean, now I see why they scored 142 last night. They had a 133 game, a 154 game, a 132 game all against Indiana. And that's because when you allow a team to shoot 58% from the floor and 50% from three, you're probably going to give up that amount of points. But what happened, what we saw last night, Skip, is that Russell played near the rim. Everything he got was coming downhill. And when he only had 8 rebounds, 7 on the defensive end. So it allows him to get out and push the ball. So now it ain't no passes. Rush is in a hurry to get, and everybody, what was it? Layups, dunks, layups, dunks. Even Robin Lopez had like 5 or 6 of those little swoop hook shots. Bradley Beal was very efficient. Russ was the only guy really that didn't shoot 50% from the floor. He was 6 of 13, which was great.
Yeah.
The other great stat by Russ, Skip, how many three-pointers did he attempt? 1.
That was the stat of the night. That was the most important Wizards stat. He only tried one and he missed it, but it was only 1.
Yes. And when you got, Skip, you get 8 guys in double figures, I believe they can take a game. Now, there's no love lost between Joel Embiid and Russell Westbrook. Because a couple of years ago, Russ was waving at him by, told him, take your butt home. Take your butt home. And then they asked Russ, are you and Joel friends? He like, F no. Made it abundantly clear, I ain't got nothing for Joel Embiid. So, but I Skip, the way Russ plays, it's going to be very interesting how they defend him. Are they going to put Ben Simmons on him, or do they put Ben Simmons on Bradley Beal? They still have Danny Green and Tobias Harris, who are very solid defenders in their own right. Not to the level of Ben Simmons, but so for me, I believe they can take a game or two off him. I'm going to say Philly wins in 6. Because they don't have an answer for Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid might average 35 and 15 in this series, but Russ gonna have a couple of games where he has 18, 19 rebounds and 20 assists.
He will. I have now officially decided after last night that Russell Westbrook is the most fascinating and frustrating basketball player I have ever tried to figure out. Both of us ended the show yesterday by saying, God, I think we got to go with Indiana. Because we were prisoners of the second half moment at Boston when Russ had 13 rebounds in the first half and he got 1 in the second with 0 assists.
Right.
How is that possible? Russell Westbrook had 0 assists and they just fell all apart against the Celtics. As we know, Jason Tatum just took the game over. Way to go. But last night, Russ came out in supreme attack mode from the first dribble, and the poor Pacers with their coach, who may be on the hot seat.
I believe he's gone. I don't think he can make his survival, Skip.
Nate Bjorkgren. So he's over there, and we could hear it via TNT. He's screaming at him in the sideline huddle. You know, they built the wall, as Kenny Smith showed at halftime on TNT, and yet he's saying, somebody take a charge. You know, just take a charge, because Russ just said, I'm going to run through the brick wall. I'm going to run through it every time. And he literally ran through the quote-unquote brick wall that was more like a putty wall.
Like, I'm not taking no knee to the chair. You get out there, take a knee to the chair.
And he would just get to the rim every time, and he would dish it or dump it to somebody, or he would just score it at the rim. So now what? You know how much I like Doc. You know how much I love Embiid. I still say I'll take Embiid over Jokic any day or any night. And I believe he's as healthy as he's been in a while, and maybe he won't have any stomach disorders this time, and maybe he'll get unscathed through the playoffs. But there's something about this Wizards team. If Russ plays the way he did last night, they're going to be a handful for anybody, including the Sixers. I'm going to go out on a limb. I am rooting for the Sixers because I want to see them and the Nets in the final. And I believe it'll go to 7 games if they get to face the Nets in the final. But I also think round 1, with a little rust on the Sixers right now, I think it's going to go 7 games.
Okay.
I believe the Wizards can get 3 off them because Bradley Beal is getting healthier by the dribble.
Right.
And when he goes off, he just goes
Oh,
off.
yeah. Oh, he's a walking 40. We know he can go get 40.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Hachimura. He's pretty good. And you talked about Lynn and
Gafford.
And Gafford, and then coming on, Lopez just came in and wreaked havoc for a while. So they have firepower. Little Ish Smith, he comes in and just makes things happen.
Yeah, yep.
Right? So I do like this team. I'm intrigued by it. But the one thing that tends to happen to Russ in big playoff games is he goes West Brick.
Right.
And if he starts gunning threes, you're going to lose.
You're going to lose,
And I loved what Scotty Brooks said afterwards, and he loves Russ because Russ has carried Scotty Brooks a long way.
Yes.
He's got him jobs, and he's, you know, he has been his driving force of his career. So he's going to sing his praises after a game like
Rightfully
this.
so.
But and I was good with Hooper, angry Hooper, but when he plays the right way. No, he doesn't. He just doesn't play the right way.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He usually plays the wrong way. Here's a quick case in point. Last night, it was a play of the night. It's they're blowing the game wide open in the third quarter with 6 minutes left, and we could see it. And Russ gets Bradley Beal on a little fake and go down the baseline for a dunk and an and one. And watch Russ. How does he celebrate this sweet little dish? And then Russ turns away from Bradley Beal and says, "I am the world. Did you see me? Look at me.
No,
Look
he
at
said
me."
that was a good play. He said, you didn't think I saw you, did you, Brad? You didn't think I saw you, did you? I saw you.
No, but he's basically in all his glory. Magic Johnson, in his heyday, if he had made that dish to James Worthy for a dunk, trust me, Magic would have run to James Worthy and either hugged him or high-fived him or celebrated in his space, in his airspace.
Skip, what the guys do now is they make a outstanding pass. You got to put the binoculars on. You got to you see that?
Did you see that?
You see how it is? Yeah,
okay,
I got that.
So he turns completely away from his brother, his teammate, his co-star, and goes up the court in all his own solo glory, right? That summed up Russ to me. That play was why Russ is now 56 and 54 in playoff games. So he's 2 games above 500. More important, since KD left him, since 2017, Russ is now 9 and 19 in playoff games. And yet I'm making a case. I just kind of like the chemistry of this team. And about 2 out of 3 nights, I see a more mature Russ. Last night, I saw a very mature Russ.
Well, Russ is saying if I'd had Paul George, if I'd had PG-13, I might have been 19 and 9 instead of way off P.
No,
a pandemic PEE.
Well, did he have Melo? Yeah.
No, PG.
Yeah,
PG was the one that say I'm playing.
No, I know, but he did have also Carmelo, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So.
But we're not talking about Carmelo as a top 10 player right now.
All right, I got it. So if you look at Russ, this is all about good Russ or really bad Russ, because the worst of Russ came when, remember, he and KD had the Warriors down 3 games to 1.
Yes.
And then this happened in games 5, 6, and 7. Now, 2 of them were at Golden State. 5 and 7 were at Golden State. But Russ goes 11 of 28, 10 of 27, and 7 of 21. That's 37% from the floor, which is terrible. And in those 3 games, he shot 5 of 19 from 3. He didn't take that many threes, but that's 26%.
That's still like 6 a game.
I know,
that's more than what he should have been taking.
Okay, I got it. But in the turnovers, he averaged 5 turnovers a game for those 3 games. That's how you lose to the Warriors that you had dead to rights.
Well, Skip, yesterday he had 15 assists with 3 turnovers. You could live with that.
Can you?
You could live with that. It was the other night when we had a high turnover. But the thing is, Skip, look, if you let him play downhill, if you let him attack your basket, he's either going to lay the ball in or you're going to foul him. Now, he's not the greatest fouler, but he'll shoot enough of them that will hurt you. And that's what I didn't understand about Indiana. Like, y'all just going to let the man lay the ball up, or y'all going to let him drive the lane and just hand it off and let somebody dunk it on you?
They looked afraid of it, seriously.
Like, somebody just, how about, look, you ain't got to try to hurt him, But just hard fouling one time and say, Russ, don't come back in here.
Yep.
Maybe that'll deter him. But Russ, he's probably going to be undeterred because that's how he is. He's just like, okay, you fouled me hard. That's right. I'll get you back on the other end. I'll foul your butt hard.
All right.
But he's going to come back, Skip. But you just